Good morning and welcome at the 69th International Festival of Contemporary Music of La Biennale di Venezia that started yesterday night with a great participation by the public. And we are here today in Sala Colonne of Ca' Giustinian, headquarters of La Biennale di Venezia. We greet all those who are here in presence and all those who are connected with us online on the website and the social channels of La Biennale. The artistic director of the festival, Caterina Barbieri, and we are celebrating today the Silver Lion of La Biennale Musica 2025. I invite on stage Caterina Barbieri to read out the motivation of this Silver Lion. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy today to be able to present the Silver Lion to the artist Chuquimamani-Condori for the innovativeness of their multidisciplinary research, which transforms music into an instrument of cultural resistance, where themes of identity, history, and transformation converge. A project affiliated to the Pacajaki nation and rooted in indigenous Aymara cosmology, Chuquimamani-Condori's music blends Andean folk traditions with contemporary performance methodologies, creating maximalist sound collage which resist Western linear temporal conventions and reflect the indigenous roots of their cultural identity. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Chuquimamani-Condori, whose project is also known as Eliza Crampton, has developed an innovative approach to sound through the use of sampling, polyrhythmic structures, and futuristic melodic synths, redefining the boundaries between avant-garde, folk, club culture, and noise. On the occasion of La Biennale Musica 2025, Chuquimamani-Condori presented just yesterday The Cry of Our Garden Star, a project commissioned by the festival in which water ceremonies from the past and the present resound together. A musical constellation of small boats crossed the canals of Venice just like a living organism. Musical composition came to life through the choreographed movement of the boats to culminate in a live concert by Los Tutanaka, the duo composed of the artist and their brother Joshua Chuquimia Crampton, in which folk and hyper-contemporary coexist, exploring themes of connection, love, and devotion. Thank you.
Invitiamo a salire sul...
We invite here on stage Chuquimamani-Condori. The award is presented by Tamara Gregoretti, a member of the Board of Administrators of La Biennale di Venezia.
Grazie. You spagata.
Thank you so much for this great honor. I'd like to thank the president of the Biennale, Pietrangelo Buttafuoco, and the Biennale board, as well as Francesca Benvenuti and Margherita Morucci. My sincerest thanks to artistic director Caterina Barbieri, whose vision brought our medicine across the policed world and who I've had the pleasure of getting to work with these past months. I dedicate this award to my brother, Joshua Chuquimia Crampton, whose sonic input has nurtured my ear since the songs were first brought to us in ceremony as children, along with our cousin Derek Greer. I love you. I am grateful for hearing the Scream with you. Thank you for attesting the Scream with me all these years. We have a saying in our maternal language, Aymara, that translates as follows. Hanyu, yakisinyakiti, kewanakata, hupanakaha, warawaranakana, umhatata, sarnakapewa. Don't pity kewa people or queer people because they walk looking at the stars. For us, the star is also inside, not just out there. Recall the thisness of thatness, to reference Che Gossett and Eva Hayward. The star within is the guardian that we call Jokechinchay. Long live the great Pakahake nation of Aymara people. Hayaya. Grazie.
Grazie a Chuquimamani-Condori.
We thank Chuquimamani-Condori. I remember that. I'd like to mention that a conversation will follow between Chuquimamani-Condori and Andrea Lissoni of the Haus der Kunst of München. Thank you all and enjoy the music festival. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I switch to English. It is a great honor to be here, invited by Caterina, to be here with the Chuquimamani-Condori for a number of reasons. Not just for the importance of this award, the recognition for their work.
Here. Not only for the acknowledgement of your practice and your career and your story, and it's particularly wonderful that you've been agreeing on something you wouldn't normally do. So you agreed on a conversation, and I can perhaps starting by saying that I know the practice of Elio Chuquimamani-Condori as someone that when invited to make a concert or present a work, maybe starting with 20 minutes, half an hour of a journey in which the public gets introduced to a cosmology in which signs, symbols, references, and imaginaries are not the one we absolutely used to deal with in the Western world. Particularly anybody growing up in Italy and having a relationship with art history will be familiar with the reading of Abi Warburg, the Atlas. So what Chuquimamani-Condori does is another journey and brings you in another time. This is not necessarily what happened yesterday. Yesterday we were brought in another time, in another world. And I think the best we can do now is to give the opportunity to Chuquimamani to share those words through the two moments some of you have witnessed yesterday. The first one is the procession and I would like to use this word procession rather than parade, called Cry of a Guardian Star. At the second one, when the procession ended, this memorable live with your brother Joshua at sunset at the Isolotto dell'Arsenale. So, Chuquimamani, I leave it to you, and I'm happy to pick up some points to share what is behind and what we were offered as a discourse yesterday evening in a wonderful live.
Well, thank you, Andrea. I want to start by bringing this medicine in here before we speak, which is what we do. Oh, yeah. So, well, let me put a little bit of this in my mouth. Sweet. Okay, so we're talking about the here. That one was for the ancestors. So here we'll give you a little more here. Here. Okay, so talking about the piece, when Caterina contacted me, it just seemed like everything fit into place. The title of the work, The Star Within, it connected to this work in the sense that for us, the star is what we call the cat, the feline, Chokechinchai, which for us as queer people, or they say Kewa or Keusa people, is the great Aymara chronicler Pachacuti wrote. It was the guardian, our guardian. And in ceremony, for the water ceremonies, this what we'll have is the troops of different musical groups will come together, and all night they will all resound at the same time, holding their melodies but playing all together. You know, up to 40 bands playing together, and right, this is to. It represents one of our first stories, which is the birth of the policed world, or the birth of the sun. And so it's their sound represents the breaking through the cacophony of the first aurora, basically, and moving from that place that we call nowhere, or the water, into this world of light, where there's this a collapse of superposition. And I don't know, I mean, I could just be digressing and spiraling, so maybe you can take it from there.
But maybe what you could share is also the choreography you gave shape to. Whomever was on the bridge yesterday, the bridge of the Giardini, will witness this procession of boats with specific lights. It was silent. Then they entered in the Canale Grande. They will all turn, wait, make a sort of circle, and going back. And then whomever was on the bridge will hear glimpses of sound, like samples. And then back at Arsenale, there was a sort of beautiful circular movement. And then that sound was there again. So maybe that can be interesting to be shared. What kind of choreography it is, what sound, and going back to the water, the time of the day you choose, that sunset. So it's a very specific moment, no?
Right, yeah, for the time, like I said, you know, when I was making the example with the bands reproducing the cacophony of the aurora, of the star, this time frame of the twilight in general, dawn, the transition between morning, night to morning, or day to night. For us, this one word for this is puruma, and the feline, or this is one of the what we consider animals of power come from this place. Our power is generated from this place because it represents this transition from the internal to the external, from the center of all things, Taipi, to the external world, which we could call, you know, the pacha, the space-time, the here and now. And so in ceremony, when we do ceremony in this time of day, right? It's calling to that power and calling to those apus that give us that medicine. Really, I think I was using the word power, and medicine is probably more a better word for that.
And one other beautiful point is the connection between the star within, that is so important for Caterina as a title, holding together this wonderful program, and the cry of the guardian star. Maybe it can be interesting to share something.
Yes, as I mentioned in my speech, right, there's this great text that I think describes it well. It's not necessarily referencing our praxis in Aymara thought, but it's a good way to describe it. It's called the impossibility of that. And basically what it's saying is that speaking about inseparability, the impossibility of claiming that over there, right? That the star is within as much as it is out there, right? So when we have that phrase, don't pity queer people because they walk looking at the stars, right? We're not just talking, of course we're talking about the landscape, and there's this image of, gazing above and not even at your path. But also when we understand that with the star we're talking about something generated from the interior, there's like this looking within. For instance, the feline in some of our oldest languages of iconographic languages, the feline is represented as a decapitator. And this is really misunderstood because violence is so often, a narrative of violence is so often, what would you say, inscribed in us from the historical anthropological perspective. But anyway, the feline is represented as a decapitator because the feline decapitates the body in order to center the heart as the mind, right? And so the head is replanted like a tuber in order to regenerate a new body and a new heart as well, right? And there's this image of the body, the headless body as well, like a tuber, where it changes the balance of, I guess it just changes the balance in general.
And the feline, meaning the cat, is very present in details, and we were mentioning, we can also mention it at the moment, there's also a cat with you on your medicine bag. So perhaps you want to say something about that, because it can be interesting to share layers that we normally see as decoration, but in fact have deep meaning, and this deep meaning then you transmit through your music.
Sure, yeah. Well, yeah, you can see the little feline. It's actually, I mentioned these animals of power, these from this transition place, and the cat is, of course, this, and so the cat is always transforming. It has avian transformations, reptilian transformations, amphibian transformations, insectoid transformations. And so in this instance, right, because it's coming from the center, it's part fish. And so you see the little fish there with the cat head. And the lines on this chuspa, or medicine bag, they are sort of like a representation when I was talking about the external and internal world, which usually is represented as a circle with another circle inside of it. And you could sort of imagine this as a flattened version of that, right? So we have the center, which, maybe theorists now would call nowhere. And then we go outwards, right? We have that twilight moment of Puruma, and then we have on the outer edges, the Pacha, the here and now.
So now, without using your normal tools, projection and images, somehow we did what you normally do in a more profound way, like sharing all this cosmology and time with an audience. But actually, yesterday there was also a concert following this beautiful procession, which it was a commission, and I think was important because connected to the history of Venice, to a specific subculture, the subculture of barchini, this little boat. But then the concert took place, and that was a moment of marvelous sharing with the background of the sunset. How did you compose? How did you decide with your brother that concert to take shape? And is there any layer we could be aware that we all enjoyed when we were there, listening, dancing, relating, and connecting?
Yeah, we just wanted to give a good show and not put too much thought into it. It is medicine for us, of course. Like I said, the styles of music we play are related to water ceremonies for us. And we play certain styles of country music and also urban ceremonial music. For instance, Huayno, Salai, Caporales. And for us, part of the project of that is also moving past this era where the state has made patrimony out of our ceremonies. And so when that happened, it created its own narratives and its own origin stories for them, often placing them in Europe and Africa in a way, and decentering the stories that we tell. And so I think that becomes an important message there. But I think since feeling is first, we always just center it on having a good show that can really be felt in the body.
And maybe one important point for those that were there yesterday, you were having specific dresses that probably we are not able to codify, that we say in a very correctly folkloristic way, but what are these dresses and why do you decide to dress them so proudly and specifically?
Yes, this regalia, they call it chotas. And again, it's one of the dances related to the water ceremony time. And this is why we used it, because as you can see, the details are very amphibious. They're, they're kind of fishy. We don't actually play chotas style music, but we used these because it was the best regalia we could get at the time. And the association to the water ceremonies is to remind people that, although it is like a rock show, there is that, for us, it is deeply related to medicine and what we call aini, which is basically reciprocity. You could say the debt that we owe to our community, but also to the world for being given the gift of music by our grandparents. Mm-hmm.
And one very personal question I have, being not being a visual-related person, is nevertheless one could just sample one sample that doesn't look matching with what guitar and electronics, so to say, were generating, which is this moment in which you will listen, DJ. No, so what is it? I know it, I recognize it. It brings me to another place. So what is this specific sample appearing occasionally?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is related to, like I said, the style of Southern country music that we play. Huayno, it's such the spots are such a big part of Huayno culture. And because right now we're not very budgeted to have a hype man. We sample a lot of those things.
Wow. And what do you think is? Yesterday we saw members of the very diverse public dancing, moving around, being blown away by the background, but also by the presence of the boat still there waiting. There was this stillness in the back. You were performing in the front. Something potentially undanceable because it was also very noisy, but at the same time was sharing the idea of a possible rhythm. What do you imagine goes through? I mean, it's a very banal question, but what do you think what you do generates, no? Makes, is it true that it can transform, which is our hope?
Yeah, again, we get booked a lot with noise artists and stuff like that because the idea of traditional or country music being this noisy is, unusual for most people. I think it's also exciting for them. One thing, as you mentioned, the installation again with the boats is what I really appreciated was just how much we are able to merge our medicine with the Venetian culture. I really enjoyed getting to meet the kids, and Caterina's whole vision just came together so smoothly. I feel like we were really blessed by the ancestors with that. And I'm always in awe about, for instance, a country like Italy's reception to our medicine, right? Like you said, there isn't necessarily cognitive or prefrontal cortex understanding of it, but there is like the understanding in the sense of the body and that connection. It's just something felt. It's innocent, and but it's also very profound and deep. And it's a mystery to me because I wonder, Italians here are supporting this medicine. These gods are coming back, to name that, and it's being uplifted by your people at a time when, I wonder, how come I'm not with my people right now doing this? But there's something extraordinary and wonderful about that, considering the times. And again, we take it back to water, and we think of Mama Kota, Mama Kocha as the water as our mother, or as our foundation, as our home. The borders quickly dissolve, and again bring us to that no place that there is talk about, which is also where we generate our power from, where we generate, we become the medicine, I suppose.
Well, I think no better words maybe to fade. We are, I think, extremely thankful for having made this exception and being in conversation, sharing your words. And I think everyone who was yesterday there could appreciate how, in fact, what you do, you both do, is a major way to contribute to transform. And I think we can only wish all of you to continue this journey with the Biennale. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea.